All right, now the fate of the 63 billion shillings Arror and Kimwarer Dam scandal case now lies with the court after the prosecution closed its case. The prosecution had lined up over 30 witnesses in the matter and only questioned 4, with the rest failing to be led in evidence. The prosecution also failed in an attempt to have Magistrate Eunice Newto recuse herself from the case, where the former National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Henry Rotich, is accused of abuse of office. Trial Magistrate Eunice Newto has in the past raised concerns over the failure by the prosecution to lead witnesses.
After calling over 30 prosecution witnesses and only questioning 4 over the 63 billion shillings Arror and Kimwarer Dam scandal, the prosecution has closed its case against former Finance Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and other accused persons 3 years after the case started. It is a matter that has put the prosecution and court at loggerheads. The most recent instance of the clash was an application by the prosecution seeking to have the trial magistrate Eunice Newto recuse herself from the case. The prosecution claimed the court exhibited open bias and hostility towards it. Magistrate Newto declined to recuse herself from the case, arguing that the application amounted to abuse of court process after the prosecution was denied a request to adjourn the case.
Nowhere in any written law is a denial of adjournment a ground to warrant the recusal of a judicial officer. Indeed, the application for recusal was initially made orally after the court declined to grant the prosecution an adjournment.
The Milimani Anti-Corruption Court magistrate had previously raised concern with the way in which the prosecution team was handling the case. On numerous occasions, the prosecution, despite presenting witnesses in court, failed to question them.
All applications for adjournment by the prosecution were heard on merit. Those that were justified were allowed, and those that were not were dismissed.
Among those who went to testify in the matter were former Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Muna, who, despite appearing in court on August 31st, was not led in evidence by the prosecution. In September 2022, the then Director of Public Prosecutions, Nuruddin Haji, claimed there was massive interference with the witnesses and an attempt to subvert justice in the Arror and Kimwarer Dams graft case, an argument that was dismissed by the defense team, and court directed that they substantiate the claims. The trial magistrate, Eunice Newto, has directed that the matter be mentioned in 14 days for further directions.